That was a little tune called Patty on the Beat, I think. Um, so it's been about 2.5 months since I got this custom 5 string tenor banjo from a banjo maker, Zach Hoyt, who's in like the Adirondack Mountains of New York State. Um, I put a new tailpiece on it, a Pisgah Hawktail tailpiece, just because I like the looks of it. Should have had that on there in the first place. I changed out the armrest to the neckville. I had a neckville armrest already at the house from another banjo. It's super comfortable. This rim is 10 inches in diameter, 10 inches across, but this it's hard to find an armrest for 10-inch rims. So this is an 11-inch rim tailpiece, but it works. I changed out the bridge to a Purcell bridge. Um, I don't know that. I mean, it sounds good, but it actually digs into my palm a little bit, so I might change it back to the bridge it came with. I changed the way the strap attaches. I had originally had my strap tied up here around the headstock, and that was a dumb way to do it. And I quickly changed it and put it around the brackets instead. Um, that's really it. I get compliments when I play this banjo. I'm actually confident to play it when I take it out to sessions. I don't stuff anything inside to mute the sound. I just play it. It's not crazy loud. It's got a good tone to it. It blends in well at a session and it sounds good. So I don't have any sort of qualms about just playing it. I'm not embarrassed by the sound or anything that I'm making. Um, if I was to make changes, the main change I might make is this neck came out a little chunky. It was my first time working with Zach Hoyt, ordering a banjo. This is a one-off, one of a kind. You know, he hadn't really made a banjo like this. The neck's a little chunky and maybe a little bit wide or wider than it needed to be, even though it has 5 strings going across. So I might, if I was to do it again, or if we could make changes, it would be to make the neck maybe a little less chunky, a little less wide. That said, maybe that chunkiness, maybe that's what's giving it its tone. I don't know, So, I don't know if these changes would be an improvement or what until I had a chance to play it. Scale length, this is 19.75 inches, which is short for a tenor banjo to begin with. And it's tuned G, D, A, E, B across, from low to high across the 5 strings. I might try to go even shorter because for me, the interior strings, D, A, E, it's where a lot of your tune playing happens. And those strings are at a good tension. It takes a really light string to pitch up to high B, like an 09 gauge, and it works fine, but I might shorten the scale if I can, more of a mandola scale. What would 18.5 inches be like instead of 19.75, for example? So I could maybe use a 10 gauge for that high B, and then adjust accordingly. And then for this low G, it's great to have there. You need it in certain tunes like White Petticoat, The Banshee, Cliffs of Moher, Lady Anne Montgomery, the D modal, D Dorian tunes. But it's like that's less than 10%. That's like 10% at most of all tunes. So I'd be fine with I'll just use a real heavy gauge, like a 50 gauge, if that's what it takes to make this pitched up to G. I don't care. The important strings are D, A, E, B on this banjo, and I want those to have their best tone. So I might go shorter in length. Thinking about this high B, would that change the sound? Would that make it a little too shrill? Is that getting it even more into banjo mandolin, that crazy territory? I don't know, but I might try that. This only has 6 brackets per side. Now Zach already had a design with this scale length, this rim size of 10 inches, this number of brackets. So I didn't request any changes from that. We just went with, you know, what he knows already works. I don't know what difference, say if it was 8 brackets per side or 7, I don't know what difference that would make in the sound. Like this banjo's got a really cool, like woody tone. It's not as metallic. You know, it's kind of like an old time banjo that's tuned in fifths and being played for, you know, with a plectrum, which I like. I didn't want something that was, I wanted something unique like that. So I don't know what having more brackets would do. And then the other thing, I might change the headstock shape instead of having it come out to this like little point right here. Maybe just like look and see what headstock shape like 5-string basses have, because that's, you know, the same concept of how do you stick 5 tuning pegs on a headstock. Do you do 3 on this side and 2 on this side, or 2 on this side and 3 on that side? I'd look at like, well, what does Mike Gordon from Fish, like what do his basses headstock look like, because he has 5 strings, and maybe model it sort of like that. So, you know, that's just an aesthetic thing. Yeah, that's really all the changes I would make if I were to do it again. But I couldn't be more happy with this banjo. Kind of see, like sometimes I don't know where my what string to play because it has more. It has 1 extra string, so I'm still getting used to that.